renewals may be completed at area kiosk locations, including Bordeaux Library, Farmers Market, East Branch Library, and Bellevue. More at countyclerk.nashville.gov.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Mainstream country music is not known for rocking the boat, taking sides in our partisan moment. And if you're picking a side right now, the commercial success is, if that's what you're aiming for, you'd probably be wise to go to the right, not to the left. Not to say there hasn't been a long tradition of artists who follow their hearts and row against the current rather than going with the flow or simply keeping quiet on such divisive topics. This hour, we have one of those artists who's embraced the outlaw label and doubled down on speaking out. Margo Price has released an album of protest music called Days of Unrest, and she joins us live in the studio to talk about her music, her mission, and even maybe take a few messages live here on the air. Margo, welcome to This is Nashville.
Thanks for having me, Blake.
Reminder to our listeners, you don't just have to listen. You can also watch if you want, youtube.com/@WPLN. There's a video stream. If you got a comment, it's kind of like the comments are live right now. We'll work them in here on the air. You can leave it in that live chat there. We'll also be opening the phone lines a little bit later. What was your first impression of Margo Price? How have you seen her evolve as an artist? And maybe what's a moment that stands out to you? We'd love to hear. So Margo, when I knew you were joining us live, I was driving around. I got to maximize my time. So I do my prep while driving, listening to podcasts or, your music. So I'm driving. I put on the new album, and I quickly got to a song called Deportee. And I'm thinking, wow, she's like ripping material from the headlines.
Goodbye, Marwa. Farewell, Rosalita. Adios, mis amigos. Jesus y Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee.
Singing there with the great Joan Baez. And Margo, I know you want to jump in here and explain what this song is. But let me continue to show what I don't know, because I hit the next song, which just confirmed what I was thinking. This is all about our current political moment.
In his oval room, in his rocking chair, he's the president, but I don't care. He's a businessman, he got business ties, he got dollar signs in both his eyes. Got a big jet plane.
All right, so Margo, you get to talk here in a minute, but when I was no longer driving, I read what I should have read before I even hit play. These songs have been around for decades, most of them. Oval Room is by Blaze Foley, written about Ronald Reagan in 1984. Deportee, nearly 80 years old, by Woody Guthrie. What does it say that these songs feel like they could have been written last week?
Well, I think, unfortunately, we have been dealing with these same issues, these same struggles for so long. And these songs that are over 100 years old, I mean, they're just finding new ways to reinvent dividing the people, I think it's such a pivotal moment right now that it's just really heartbreaking, and it's hard to write about something in the moment. When it's going on, I find, at least for me, I have to process the trauma that I've been going through, and wait till my blood pressure comes back down to be able to really truly write about things. But I started pulling out some of these covers and playing them live, starting, I guess it was last year at Newport Folk Festival. And then we decided we should record them because everybody kept coming back to the merch booth and asking where the record was.
Oh, wow. They said, I want a recording of that. Do people assume that this is, I mean, it sounds like it could be so current. Do they assume that it's your song, or do you always explain where this thing came from?
Sometimes I explain it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I think, when I'm maybe in a place where people might be more upset at the message or more upset at the song, then I tell them, hey, if you want to be upset, you can be mad at Blaze Foley because he's the one who wrote it.
Yeah. Are you careful about when you would pull such a song out? Newport Folk Festival, probably a safe place for such a thing. Farm Aid, okay. But yeah, like I could imagine there could be some settings where like let's not dive into that part of the catalog.
Well, I think there's going to be pieces of humanity and pieces of the world and what's going on, even in the stuff that I wrote on my last album, Hard-Headed Woman. I had a song called Don't Wake Me Up that featured my friend Jesse Wells. Another song that I wrote with Rodney Crowell and the late, great Chris Christopherson called Don't Let the Bastards Get You Down. And, so I think people are used to hearing that from me, but I always try to do it with like a spoonful of sugar. And, a lot of times when I'm playing a song that might have a message that upsets people, there's still going to be pieces in that hopefully they're going to relate to. I think we live in a time where, and the internet is people are just firing back and forth and commenting and all these things. But when you're sitting and you're listening to a song or you're looking at a piece of art or you're reading a book, that is when the human mind actually can change and become open to new ideas. So I've still continued to play these songs in states, red states, blue states, purple states. And a lot of times the cheering is even louder in red states. I think people are underestimating how fed up the collective is with both sides, because for so long, the Democratic Party hasn't been doing anything. The Republican Party hasn't been doing anything. And us, the people, we're all suffering, So I think a lot of artists are obviously worried about speaking up for things they believe in, losing money. I don't care about money. I care about humanity. I care about human rights. And what I've found is that there's a lot more people that stand with me than stand against me.
Do you essentially have to make an active choice? You're like, all right, I'm going to have to set aside commercial success if I'm going to have that, or can they live together?
I don't know. I think Nashville is a town that very often wants things to just be one way. And I've never followed the blueprint for the success of being just like a pop star. That was really never my intention. I love artists like Loretta Lynn, who, she was writing songs that were deeply personal. They came from her. She was writing songs about women's rights, about women's reproductive health care back in a time when she absolutely should not have been doing that. And she had commercial success. And I think success is just really all how you look at it. I mean, I'm duetting with Joan Baez. I just got 2 Grammy nominations. I've got an Americana nomination coming up. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just people's versions of success are different. I don't look for trophies, but when I find myself sitting on Willie Nelson's plane and going to Maui every year for Thanksgiving, that to me looks like success.
I love that. All right, so I knew that there was one. It's not this song. You have a song called Maggie's Farm, not you. Do people ever call you Maggie?
My parents almost named me Maggie May after the Rod Stewart song. So
well, different Maggie song, but Maggie's Farm, this is Bob Dylan. You've actually been playing it for a while, from my understanding. Here's a recording from last year's Farm Aid that also includes Jesse Wells and Billy Strings. There are a lot of words in this song. I actually don't really understand what it's about. What is it protesting?
I think, it's just kind of like the tale that's as old as time, is there's people on the top that are, using the labor of everybody underneath you. And it's just kind of saying, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it's hard these days to unsubscribe. I mean, our taxes are going to things that we do not want them to go to. They're, bombing children overseas with our money. But the way that you can vote is with your dollar, is with your voice, is, you've got to find little ways. And for me, the greatest form of protest is singing songs like that.
I'm Blake Farmer. This is Nashville. We're in with Margo Price, and she's joining us live here. We're going to open up this to a bit more of a community conversation. If you've got a message for Margo, a burning question, an issue she might want to take on, I mean, it seems like she'll take on issues as they come up. I think I saw you. What is it? Wild horses that you're jumping on?
I mean, why isn't everybody talking about this?
I don't know, but they're rounding up wild horses, and Margo Price has joined the cause. Anyway, the phones are open as we talk through the story of Margo Price. The on-air number is 615-760-2000, or just drop a message in the chat of the live video stream at the WPLN YouTube page. So, we heard that last clip from Farm Aid, which is coming up in a month. I think it's in Virginia Beach this year. You're there with, it's sort of your point about your success, your vision of success. You're playing with Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Neil Young, Dave Matthews. I do wonder, does helping lead that group, because of Farm Aid's history, almost make it a bit of a political role?
Well, Farm Aid is a nonprofit, and so they do encourage some nonpartisan
Really?
Language, during the festival. But I've seen Neil Young get up there and, and sing songs to him that matter. And I think when you're using poetry and lyrics and trying to convey your message, there's all sorts of ways that you can do that. But it's an organization that is ahead of its time. I mean, they saw this coming back in the farm crisis of the mid-1980s. My family lost their farm during that time, and it rocked our world. It shaped who I was. And so to sit on the board next to Willie and Neil, and Nathaniel Rateliff just joined the board as well. I think it's something that needs to be talked about. Safe food, where we're getting our food from. There's food recalls left and right, people dying from eating blueberries. I mean, it's wild. And don't even get me started on the water and clean soil, but we've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, from the YouTube audience, Mark Parker writes, "Hi, Margo. Just a quick thanks for speaking truth through music and carrying on the beautiful traditions of the great country and folk artists who are unafraid to express their convictions." And calls coming in now, 615-760-2000. Let's work in one more clip and then get to the phones. You obviously write most of your own music on this album. That song is called Can't Stand Still.
And when I get to the big old city, ain't gonna be no in between. 'Cause I swear someday I'm gonna make some cash, get my picture in a magazine. And it's been a long time, it's been an uphill climb, and now I can't sit still.
I'm tempted to harmonize you there but I don't think it's right sitting in front of
Get
you
in there.
here.
Get in there.
No, I don't. Not on that chord. The lyrics also go to, women ain't supposed to ramble, women ain't supposed to think. Why should I want to stay home all night washing dishes in the kitchen sink? What are you trying to protest here?
Well, I think just doing things the way that they've always been done, which is like, women only are allowed to stay home and caretake and only support a man's dreams. And I've been so lucky to have a supportive partner. We've been together for 23 years. We've got 2 kids. And, when I am home, I'm a full-time mom. I'm there with my kids. And so I love raising them. They're the best thing in my life. But I think it's important to show your children that, you can go out, make yourself become whatever you want to become. And so it's breaking down those gender roles. My husband does all the cooking in our house, I'll tell you that.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Let's take a few phone calls, and this is a very direct message to Patty, who called in. And I think for some reason we lost you. Call back if you would, 615-760-2000. But for now, John in the Nations, you're on with Margo Price. Go ahead.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for doing this show, and kudos, Margo, for speaking your truth. To answer your question at the top of the show, I saw Margo and Jeremy in Buffalo Clover for the first time at the Springwater Supper Club. And a little tip for any younger listeners out there, or anybody who's got the dream and you want to get a part of Nashville, you go down there and book a show at the Springwater. Because if it's good enough for Towns Van Zandt to fall asleep on stage, or Marshall Chapman and to webcast out of there during the pandemic, or Dave Cloud to pull his pants down on stage. It's good enough for anybody else who.
I've seen that too, unfortunately.
Well, there's a story there. John in the Nations, really appreciate the call. All right, Buffalo
Thanks,
Clover,
John.
for those who don't know. Can you explain, Margo?
Yeah, it was my first band, actually my second band. And we plugged away here in Nashville for a really long time, gigged all over town. We kind of had like a horn section, and it was kind of more like a rock and roll soul vibe. But thank you, John. That was a wonderful memory.
All kinds of genres here with Margo Price. Let's work on another call, and I'm glad this man called in because we asked. I just don't want to pretend that we didn't. But I think this is Rodney Crowell, if I'm not mistaken. You're on with Margo Price.
Well, okay.
Rodney.
What's How about you?
We thought you could just come on and, pump up Margo Price for a moment just here live on the air.
No, I want to pump up Rodney Crowell.
Happy to do it. Yeah, where do I start?
Well, go ahead. Do you have a word for her as she, is putting out this music that really is, challenging folks?
Yeah. Well, as I sat here knowing I was going to make this call, I had a piece of paper and I wrote down this: Margo, instincts are solid, great songs, true intent, great sense of humor, intelligent, and street smart. And also, I think our first real connection where we actually had an extended conversation was at a political fundraiser for a Democrat named Gloria Johnson. And I think that's where we knew each other. But from then on, we've maintained a conversation whenever we see each other.
Oh man, Rodney.
Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment, Margo?
That sure is. I will never forget that. I was in a songwriting swap with you and Emmy Lou, and just me, and I was having a panic attack. I was like, how am I going to hold my own among these heroes of mine? I mean, I've been covering Rodney's songs for so long and reading his incredible memoir, China Berry Sidewalks. I mean, you're just one of the greatest to ever do it. So thank you for taking the time to write with me and talk with me.
Well, yeah. Rodney, while I've got you for a second, I had missed this song that you've put out this year called Light a Candle. And if what I read was correct, it's kind of your first protest song. Is that true?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, it seemed like a mistake to me too.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I went. The first thing I did with that song when the inauguration happened, enough of my friends were in a bad way, I was speaking to a buddy of mine, and I said, well, Springsteen has hit one pretty hard. And I said, I want to find a more gentle way. And he said, oh man, go light a candle. And I said, that's it. So I wrote this song, Go Light a Candle. But originally I released it anonymously like a musical chain letter. Margo, you might have helped me get it out there in the world.
Absolutely, I did. I love that song so much.
Wait, so that's the explanation of, I saw that it was released anonymously, and that's what you're saying? You released it, just had other artists start playing it?
Well, I released it as a recording, and then I circled back, and I have an album out, just came out now. That's something I recorded 20 years ago, and I added it to the running order. But I wrote a song called "Don't Get Me Started" back, Operation Shock and Awe, when we're invading Iraq, and when all that was happening, I was in Ireland, and this woman in a pub walked over to me and punched me square in the chest, and she said, "You're American," and and like it caved in my chest. Punched me in the heart, and I said, "You don't really understand me. You can't lump me into everything American." So I came back and wrote "Don't Get Me Started," which was based on her wanting to fight me in a bar because of a difference in political stance on invading another country. And my song "Don't Get Me Started" was very much in protest of that particular invasion and country building that we were doing that failed pretty miserably. So I've never shied away from speaking my mind about that. It's something, Margo, I admire this. Margo comes from that mindset. She's not afraid. Can't be afraid.
Right. I know. I think so many people are controlled by fear, and it doesn't mean I'm not scared when I'm not doing it sometimes, for sure. I've had threats and people write all sorts of terrible things, but I'm not going to be bullied into being silenced.
Yeah, well, I want everybody on both sides of any aisle I look down to love me. Of course, that's
Yes.
what we get on stages, but sometimes to speak the truth, you have to sacrifice the longing for everybody to care for you because, hey, it's a divided mindset.
Ronnie Crowell, thank you so much for taking a moment with us here with Margo Price. I really appreciate the call. We're going to work in some more calls later in the hour. 615-760-2000 is the number. But we'll go now to Patty. I'm so glad that we got you back, Patty, on West End. You're here. You're on with Margo Price. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to say, for every fan that you lose because of your outspoken progressive politics, you might be gaining a few, including me. I have never heard of you before.
I love to hear that.
And I'm laughing because the reason they lost me is that I'm old, and all I know about I use my cell phone to talk on.
Heard that.
So I accidentally hung up on you. But I just, you go, girl. And what's your duet with Joan Baez?
Yes, thank you so much. No, Joan has definitely been a hero of mine forever. It was so surreal to sing with her.
What did you sing with her?
Oh, we sang Deportees. It's a song by Woody Guthrie.
Yes. Well,
yes.
Thank you again, and don't worry about losing any fans because you're gaining new ones.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Patty, thanks so much, and we'll take a few more calls, but we do need to take our first break. And as we close out this part of the interview, there's this theme that runs through Margo Price's new album called San Marcos. It's an instrumental, so we'll just use it behind us here. We'll be back with more of Margo's music and bio, take a few more calls. If you got a message from Margo, the number is 615-760-2000. Stay with us. This is Nashville.
Funding for This is Nashville comes from you, our listeners.
And Vanderbilt Health. From routine women's health screenings to pioneering immunotherapy for breast cancer, Vanderbilt Health, solving the most complex problems, prepares them to solve any problem. More at whyvanderbilthealth.com. And Wildwood Resort, offering lakeside event spaces for wedding ceremonies and celebrations near Nashville on Cordell Hull Lake. More at wildwoodresort.com.
You may have heard us say that August is Make-A-Will Month, and as the month winds down, it's an ideal time to plan ahead and leave a legacy to support your loved ones and the causes you care about. Help ensure Middle Tennesseans continue to have access to reliable local journalism by making a gift that keeps on giving. Legacy gifts are simple to establish, open to anyone, and have a lasting impact on future generations. Learn more about including Nashville Public Radio in your will or estate plan at WPLN.org/legacy.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. We've got Margo Price live in the studio, and we're happy to keep up the conversation on politics and country music, but we're also going to turn to Margo's own story. Keep the messages coming at youtube.com/@WPLN in the live chat, or join us live on the air with a phone call, 615-760-2000. What Margo moment made you a fan, or what would you like to see other artists doing with their platforms? We'd love to hear about it. 615-760-2000. Kathleen Irvin writes on the YouTube chat, thanks, Margo, for being on today's show, continuing to use your gifts to speak truth to power. Are you surprised on how quiet the Nashville community has been? Nice zinnias, by the way, she says. These are my zinnias. They're kind of the last of them, and they're kind of puny, but they have some color. But yeah, are you surprised on quietness of the Nashville community? Is that true?
I don't think I'm surprised, unfortunately, but I do think. I think a lot of people there's like the shut up and sing. What are you doing? You're just trying to get attention for yourself or something like that.
Have you been told that?
Oh yeah. But I think there's what you do. It makes ripples, and I mean you can even look at back when Taylor Swift told everybody to go register to vote, and what a huge impact that had. And that's why you're saying, oh, you're jumping on the horses and you're doing this and you're doing that. But it's like if I can get some people to sign the petition and care about it. And I see so many artists in this town, especially so many female country artists. They're always writing songs about horses. They got their horses in their photo shoot. But then when it comes time don't we want our future generations to be able to go see wild Mustangs out in the West? I think, these little impacts, they really can make a difference if, you just take a second away from promoting your music and your T-shirt that you're selling and just give a little back to the community.
She says the water's fine out here. You've got a Get Out the Vote event coming up October 9th. Have you done that kind of thing before? October 19th is when it is.
Well, the event I did with Rodney and Emmy Lou, like I was saying.
That was a Get Out the Vote?
That wasn't a Get Out the Vote, but, helping other just people that are like Gloria Johnson running for office.
Elected officials.
Yes, absolutely.
This is at City Winery, October 19th, and I was looking at the lineup. We have Monrovia, S.G. Goodman, Rodney Crowell's going to be on there. What I was thinking about, this Get Out the Vote, which Get Out the Vote can be a nonpartisan issue, certainly. I wonder if artists, though, are thinking, all right, if Margo's asking me to do this, I essentially am kind of endorsing her worldview or something.
I don't think so. I think, in Nashville, in Tennessee, we have one of the lowest voter turnouts in the country. And if people just get out, exercise the right to vote, then maybe we won't lose it in the future. I don't think, I have people that I speak with that I know are on the other side of the political party. I have family members, I have friends. And I think that's what we need to continue to do is have conversations, talk with people, not be scared and not think, oh, you think differently than me. I'm not going to speak to you. That's where America is really going wrong. We all used to know our neighbor. We all used to go to church. We all used to have these conversations throughout the day. The 60s and the 70s when everything was going on with Vietnam, that was a very divisive time as well. And but it didn't stop people from having the conversations in person. It doesn't mean just fight with each other on the internet.
I do wonder if music can somehow, de-escalate. Obviously, some music can be, pretty pointed. But it does seem like, even like Rodney Crowell was talking about, that it could be, you could take a little of the edge off and people maybe are listening to a point in a different way than somebody making a stump speech.
Totally. I mean, I think Willie Nelson's a really good example of that. He, he leans to the left, but he's brought together people with all sorts of differences. The hippies and the bikers and the cowboys. We're all different, but that's what makes America beautiful. And there's really nothing to be scared of by voicing an opinion or saying, hey, AI is coming into this area. Let's have some regulations around it. There's so many things right now that are just hitting us all at once. And it's designed to make us feel overwhelmed. But if you just do one small thing each day, it's going to help move the needle in the right direction.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of you the other day holding a small rifle with something about flock cameras, which of course is bringing together people from all sides of the political spectrum. But I saw people in the comments, or maybe this was the point you were making, I should do my homework here, but you essentially saying, we own guns too, or something like that.
Exactly. You go far enough left, you get your guns back. And I have a shotgun. I have a revolver. I grew up shooting skeet. I mean, I have cleaned a deer. I am from rural America, and I'm proud of that. I'm so proud of that. I think... there's a lot of misconceptions when people say, oh, you're on the left, you must want to take away our guns. Well, no, I just don't want people to go into a school and shoot up our children. I think that that we can agree that we're all more alike than we think.
Well, as we learned a few minutes ago, there are listeners who are learning who you are right now.
Good.
And so we should let them get to know you a tad. 10 years ago, you released an album called Midwest Farmer's Daughter, which received critical acclaim, awarded with the American Music Prize. And it starts off with a track called Hands of Time. Let's listen to just a bit of it.
When I rolled out of town on the unpaved road, I was $57 from being broke. Kissed my mama and my sisters, and I said goodbye. And with my suitcase packed, I wiped the tears from my eyes.
There's a lot of hard knock kind of story in this. How much of it is autobiographical?
The whole song.
It really is. Like your dad worked in a prison.
Yeah, after the farm fell through, him and his brothers, they all just had to go take what work they could get. And then, moved here to Nashville, waited tables for about 13 years. My husband and I lost a child. I was really struggling with my drinking. And that song was it was truly a form of therapy for me to write it. And it was just beyond my wildest dreams that Jack White and Third Man Records would put it out and my whole life would turn around.
Well, because I've heard you explain this I'm guessing if you'd been doing it that long, you're thinking, all right, this is like last shot of, I don't know, like how did you end up putting this music out with Third Man Records, which typically puts out, rock music? Yeah,
it was kind of like, all right, let's put all our eggs in one basket. My husband sold our car. I pawned my wedding ring.
Those are real stories.
Real stories. Yeah. He believed in me so much. And, we had done a Kickstarter before. We were like, we can't ask people for more money, and so we just were like hawking everything that we had. We sold music gear, microphones. And then we went to Sun Records in Memphis and recorded this album, and then I started sending it to everybody in Nashville, everybody overseas, indie labels everywhere. We got resounding no's from everyone until I somehow got on the Third Man Records radar. And I think a lot of people forget that, Jack produced that record for Loretta Lynn later in her life, and he really loves country music. Mm-hmm. He's covered Jolene, he loves folk, blues, all of those things I think that are tied in there. And I'm just so glad they took a shot on me.
Yeah. Well, let's take a, we've got folks waiting on the phone. 615-760-2000 is the number to get on with Margo. We'll go to Gerald Reed. Gerald from Brentwood, you're on with Margo. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you very much. Margo, I first started listening to you when I was serving in the Peace Corps in Mexico 10 years ago when Midwest Farmer's Daughter came out, and that's how you got on my radar. I love your music, and I really appreciated in your latest song that you included or collaborated with the Memphis Mariachi. I love Latin American music, and I was wondering if you would like to comment on the Latin American influence in country, and if you had any other collaborations with Latin artists in mind. And I was going to suggest Natalia Lafourcade, one of my favorites, because she seems to be doing a lot of collaborations with artists of different genres.
I love that. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for serving in the Peace Corps. That's pretty incredible. I have always loved, mariachi, and I think being a white woman, I was a little bit nervous to sing a song in Spanish and to be backed up by the mariachi players in Memphis, but I had fun doing it. I had somebody come in and help me a little bit with my pronunciation and translating, and I spoke Spanish for a very long time. I minored in it in college, and I would love to do more of it. I love Hermanos Gutierrez, and there's so many incredible artists out there that deserve a bigger platform. So I'm happy to to get to bring some mariachi to the masses.
Thanks a lot for your call, Gerald. Let's take one more call while we're at it. 615-760-2000 is the number if you want to get a moment with Margo. Carla in Gallatin, you're on the show. Go ahead.
Hi, Margo. I just wanted to say welcome to This is Nashville. I listen to this all the time, so I was so excited that I got a call in. And I just wanted to let you know that we support you for just speaking the truth and speaking your heart through your music, because music touches everybody. And it's a language that everybody can speak, speaking of languages. So
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Oh, that's
for
beautiful.
your creativity.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the call. I listen to this show all the time, too, so it's fun to be on it.
Thank you, Margo. And Carla, appreciate it. Call back again sometime. If anybody else wants to call in, it's 615-760-2000. Let's, on this initial album, again, this is for folks who are maybe just learning of you. You did have this song that's kind of about Nashville and the music business. Let's take a quick listen.
When I first came here, the streets are paved with gold, and you can walk that road. I've been told, but I won't put out. I be controlled, I don't rap the shit that gets bought and sold. Ask any man, he might know. He used to live on Music Road, but that was then, and this is now. And he told me this town is around. From what I found.
So I'm curious, in what ways did you experience this story of this song?
How much time you got? I think, there's a lot of people that it came into my life and my career early on that maybe some of them truly had good intentions, but some of them definitely did not. And I had managers that had promised a lot of things, and it's you'll have to read my memoir. It's called Maybe We'll Make It, because I don't think I can quite go into some of it.
Let's leave it there then. But did you came here after college? Did you know what you were getting into? Were you thinking, I'm going to write songs, I'm going to busk, I'm going to what was the plan?
I think, I just was drawn to music. I was drawn to, of course, writing songs, but I don't know that I ever had any intention of writing for other people, because I think what I was writing was so personal. But I think a lot of people looked at me and thought, like, you don't have the look, or you don't have the voice, you don't have the chops, whatever it is. And I just wouldn't take no for an answer. I just kept going out there and busking and going to open mics and studying songs and what really made a good song. But I think for anyone who wants to get into the music business, just be prepared to be told no, and be prepared to have your heart broken and pick it up and just keep going.
Keep going. May take a while. It's a 10-year town or more if you're Margo Price.
See you on the long climb back to the middle.
The long climb back to there's a title of a book. Somebody write that one. Let's take a few more calls. Gary in the borough, and I assume this is Murfreesboro, but maybe it's Gainesboro. Maybe it's another borough here in Middle Tennessee. You're on with Margo Price. Go ahead.
Oh, come on, there's only one borough.
Okay, excuse me. The borough.
Margo, I'm almost 70 years old, and I've been well-versed in protest music and country music tie-ins, and it's been, you're right, kind of hard for those two to meet sometimes. I want to know if you're familiar with Brian Andrews, and if you thought about working with him or collaborating with him. He's only basically on social media almost, but some of his music is incredible.
I love that. I've definitely heard of him, and I think his heart is in the right place. We need more people like that, kind of in the more mainstream world as well, because he's even more out there than I am. I love it.
Brian Andrews, I'll have to look it up. Gary,
it's tough having a blue heart in a red state, but I keep trying.
That's right.
Gary, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Let's go to Peggy in Old Hickory. Peggy in Old Hickory, if I can.
I mean, nobody's even yelled at me yet.
No, not
Is
yet. But
Peggy
may be about to. I don't know. Peggy in Old Hickory, go ahead.
Oh, Margo, I am not going to yell at you.
Okay,
Sorry. Great. I first heard of you, Margo, when my son Dave interviewed you for the Tennessean after your first album came out, long time ago.
Nice.
And our family has been just fans of yours ever since. And I worked for Moms Demand Action for years, and you've always been a favorite of ours and my organization's. And I just want to thank you for everything you've done over the years, for your music and for your politics and for everything. And just for being the person you are. And this is like my first fan call ever.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm 72. So
Thank you.
And just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you for all your work with Moms Demand. That is so important, and it is a cause that's very near to my heart.
Right. Well, you just keep on doing what you're doing, girl, and we're all with you.
Thank you. Solidarity.
Peggy, love that, and I assume that we may be talking to a Paulson here. Appreciate all that your family has done.
Yes, you are talking to
That's
a
right. I
Paulson.
love
Yes,
Dave.
Okay, well, and Ken Paulson, I assume you all are related.
All right, don't bring him into this.
Okay, excuse me.
It's nonpartisan, okay?
He's a friend of the show. Peggy, really appreciate the call. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye-bye now.
We've only name-checked him once, I think, but your husband, Jeremy Ivey, has also been this musical collaborator kind of throughout. I often, though, imagine working with my wife every day. I don't think it'd go great. I'm going to be honest. It sounds challenging. How does this work?
It is challenging, and that's why he's in Vermont right now. We have been making music together for over 2 decades and seen each other through a lot of ups and downs. I have had him out on the road with me at times. He's played every instrument in my band, from bass, guitar, harmonica, key. He's out playing keys with me on this next tour we're doing. But it, of course, comes with its challenges. And we do a lot to make it work. We've done therapy. We've stuck with each other through all the ups and downs. And even though sometimes there's nobody that could drive me as crazy as he could, I would be lost without him, 100%.
You are a mother, and as you said, you lost a child. You had twins initially, and the thing, I don't really want to bring up that really sad story, but I was thinking this child is 16 years old or something at this point,
Yes.
right? You have a teenager.
I do. We have a wonderful son. His name is Judah, and he's 16. It's unreal. And then my daughter Ramona is 7, and they're just the joy of my life. They're the best thing to ever happen to me.
Now, the thing is, you are kind of the part of this outlaw crew, and as an outlaw person, one. You life is a little, you're into all these things, and they now know about their mother and father probably. How does one be a good example to one's children when one's making a life in your music?
Well, I have really changed a lot of my rowdy ways. I have been sober from alcohol for 5 years now. I put my health at the top of my list. I do Legree, which is basically like Pilates 4 days a week. I'm always hiking. I eat really healthy. And so I think a lot of people forget that, it's a character too. I've built a character, and of course, a lot of it, I've partied very hard, and I've been very transparent with my son, especially about the struggles that I've had with substances. He's really seen me kind of harness my life and move through my failures. And it's all how you grow out of like the bad things that happen to you. And so I think he's got his head on his shoulders. He doesn't drink or smoke or have any interest in doing any of those things because he's seen his parents live it.
Well, I look forward to seeing. Is he into music? Are your kids musical?
Actually, yeah, he was in a band last year. When he started high school, and he plays keys. He plays drums. My daughter plays piano and violin, and she's always singing. But my son, he's a soccer player. He is very into soccer. I go to a lot of soccer games. We've got practice 3 times a week, and we're all staying very busy. It's it's really challenging to keep everybody's schedules all together, but we lift each other up and make it work.
We need to take one more break, but before we go to the break, I'm going to give Margo Price a moment to think about her final question. And this is, it comes courtesy of a friend of the show, Patrick Chappelle, who asks people on his podcast, if this was your last day in Nashville, where would you go? What would you do? Who would you make sure to see? Margo Price, what would you do? Who would you go see? Margo Price will give us some thought as we go to the break. We'll be back. This is Nashville.
Get off your chest, what's on your mind? Pull the cork and pour the wine. Spill the beans, break the bread. The way you sing could wake the dead.
Funding for This is Nashville comes from you, our listeners, and Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, helping donors make more possible through the power of community giving. More at cfmt.org. And the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Vanderbilt University, offering intellectual courses for adults over 50. Registration for fall courses open now at vanderbilt.edu/OLLI. This week, the WPLN Ticket Giveaways page features Nashville Home Show September 11th through the 13th at Music City Center, Jersey Boys September 16th through the 20th at TPAC, and more. Enter to win at WPLN.org/giveaways.
The world takes you outside your borders.
Johannesburg,
Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, Kyiv,
Chiba, Japan. Because what happens there?
When it comes to EVs, Chinese cars eat everyone's lunch.
Affects what happens at home.
The fact that the sides are talking again, that's a positive step.
I'm Marco Werman.
And I'm Carolyn Beeler. Listen each weekday to The World.
This afternoon at 2 on 90.3 WPLN News.
I'm Blake Farmer, and this is Nashville. Our guest, Margo Price, moved to Nashville to make music, and that she has done. But we are simply imagining the unimaginable, and that is the day that she leaves. Where would you go? What would you do? Who would you see before you put the Batman building in the rearview mirror, Margo Price?
Oh, man. I found myself getting emotional just thinking about it. I would definitely stop by Third Man Records and thank Jack and Ben Swank and everybody down there.
Is Jack usually hanging out there?
I mean, sometimes talk about Batman, I think he's got like this underground thing maybe he drives into. I don't know. That's just how I like to imagine it.
I have only been there once, and walking through, I was like, it did feel kind of like a lair. Yeah.
Right? And it's yellow and black. I'm just saying, just think about it. He could be Batman.
Love that.
And let's see, what else would I do? I would go buy Parnassus books because Ann Patchett is my hero, and I've read every book she's ever written, and I'm obsessed with her.
I had to wait for a while to get Whistler on Libby. It was a long wait.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's wild. Yes. Whistler was phenomenal. I ran into her on the street in New York after I had just finished Patron Saint of Liars the night before, like crying in my hotel room, and I was tracking her down on the street. I was like, Anne. And she reached in her bag and handed me a signed copy of Whistler.
In New York?
In New York. I ran into, and it's like,
so
if I just want to take
you had a
wrong turn.
fangirl moment with Ann Patchett in New York.
I did. I was chasing her down. Ann.
All right. So she's gonna go. So she's gonna go see if Jack's at Third Man. She's gonna go see if Ann Patchett is at Parnassus. Okay.
That's right. Then I go to Arnold's. Then I would start with dessert first, of course. I'd get some meat and three. Then I think I would probably need a hike. And that's one of my favorite things about Nashville and Tennessee in general is just all of the beautiful state parks. I would go to Beeman Park or Narrows of the Harpeth. I love both of those hikes. And then I'd go by Carter Vintage because they are the friendliest guitar store in Nashville. That's where I bought my guitar that I play all the time.
Wow.
Go see the folks at Carter. And then I would stop at Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge at the end of the night and play some pool and catch a band there.
Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge with an NA cocktail,
Yeah, I mean, we used to be able to enjoy a THC cocktail until they tried to restructure the laws on that, but don't even get me started.
Another show on another day. I do wonder, what is your typical fan interaction like in Nashville? Does it feel like fan interaction?
People are so nice in Nashville. A lot of times nobody bothers you.
Do you think they're not bothering you, or do you think that you can actually just sort of slip through?
I think a lot of times I can slip through. The other day I was at the Tomato Arts Fest with my daughter, and she said, "I heard those people saying your name," or "Oh, those people were pointing at you." So sometimes people think they're being sneakier than they are. But yeah, I always love when somebody comes up and says, "Hey," and I'll talk to them forever. I enjoy hearing about where everybody's from, and so if you see me out and about, say hi.
Say hello. Don't you may want to do the Nashville thing and leave Margo alone, but you have Margo's explicit
You can
permission.
say hi. Yeah, I'm not like some people that don't want their fans to talk to them. I'm more than happy to sign something or I don't know, kiss your baby, whatever it is.
All right, you've got it coming. Margo Price's new album of protest music is called Days of Unrest. Her Get Out the Vote concert with Monrovia, Jesse Wells, and Rodney Crowell is at the City Winery on October 19th. Margo Price, thank you so much for making time for this.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in this hour and being part of the conversation. It was lovely. This is Nashville, the production of Nashville Public Radio. Today's episode was produced by yours truly, Josh Deepens, working the phones and working hard today. Liv Lombardi making us sound and look good without a hitch. Tasha A.F. Limley is our managing editor. The masterminds behind our theme music are LaRange and Namir Blade. Special thanks to Julie Height, WPLN senior music writer. Her guidance is always helpful when we enter our music episodes. The on-air number goes to voicemail after the show. Let us know what kind of protest music you'd like to see coming out of Nashville. The number is 615-760-2000, or you can DM us on Instagram at This Is Nashville. I'm Blake Farmer. Go in peace.